Yeah, but you can have. I think you've got to define when he has control because, for example, if he has the ball in one hand and somebody heads the ball out, he's still under possession. He's still under control. So what they did in the law, and the law is specific and straightforward, once he puts his hand on the ball, he's deemed to have possession. So for me, unless they change the law, which is what Frank wants, then we're going to open up different scenarios. I just think keep it simple. Once he has hand possession, it's kicked out. For me, it should be a foul.
Yeah, and Mark. Yeah, but Mark, if you can open also a debate on where you put your hand. If I have my hand like that and I have the ball here, am I in possession of the ball? You know, it's because he has his hand like that, he's in possession, or he has his hand like that, he's in possession, but if he has the hand there or there, he's not in possession. I mean, it doesn't make any sense as well, you know. Yeah, we have to clarify that. I think the goalkeeper is in possession of the ball when he has his two hands around the ball. Therefore, yeah, I can agree. Otherwise, one hand like that is not enough for me. In that case, not enough.
It's almost November, isn't it? Which is, of course, going to be the World Cup this year. According to the bookies, defending champions France 6-1. It was confirmed, though, today that Paul Pogba will not be featuring in the tournament. How much of a difference maker really is this, Frank?
Well, first, you have to be sad for the players because you don't want to see any player who can dream about winning maybe a second World Cup having to say goodbye to it. So, and Paul has been absolutely fantastic when he plays with the national team, which wasn't the case when he played for Manchester United, for example. Far from there, but he always been very, very there when he played for France. So it's sad for him, but it's also sad for France. Like we lost Kanté, and when you lose very influential players in the middle of the park, that's not a very good sign for the country, and of course for the national team. So hopefully Paul's going to rebound very well at Juventus, and maybe we're going to see him again. But for France, not having Kanté and Paul Pogba, it's really dramatic.
But you do have Camavinga, you do have Tchouaméni. You've got two players who are ready to make that step up, prove themselves, of course, to Real Madrid over the last few months.
Yes, but with all due respect, you know, there is something very important that you have to have with national teams. It's players who have experience and experiences, and Pogba and Kanté represent that, where the others, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, are young, are very, of course, talented. No, for sure, they are the future. Are they the present of the national team? I'm not sure yet. Hopefully, it's going to be enough to win the World Cup again. I really wish that deep in my heart. But I think it's going to be difficult with those players, but with also the other players. We have question marks about who's going to be in the central defense.
Injuries, is that fair?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely one of the problems. Unfortunately, that's not the only problem. They've got so many other problems that actually... How long is this show on for?
Well, as long as you want.
We started, we could be here for a long time.
Well,
it'd be a lot easier.
We've got trick or treat to go and do.
It would be a lot easier if we talked about what's going well, and the fact is that they're still managing to create chances, and they're probably not taking them all, but they're still managing to score some goals. Unfortunately, right now, the goals they are scoring isn't enough because they're shipping so many in.
Mario, one of the things that fascinates me looking at this Liverpool run that they've had, obviously, it's been so much success under Jurgen Klopp. This is almost a new feeling for a lot of this squad. What's that like as a player, from looking forward to going into training, to enjoying being with the team, and then all of a sudden cracks start appearing, fingers start pointing in different directions? How's that from a professional perspective?
It is like normally for the younger players, because two things happen. You know, when I was a younger player, you look at the more seasoned players and see how they deal with it. And normally how they deal with it, they move themselves sometimes away to an area where they get a little bit more quiet, while the younger ones are full of energy. When you look at the Liverpool side, what I feel is that I feel like that energy that they normally have, you understand, how they bully people. You know, like I give an example. In the middle of the park, they were always strong. The energy, the battle, everything was there. Now, when I look at them, it's not really what they normally are possessing. They're in control. They lead the tempo. They surprise people. I think the surprise package is so much less compared to what we normally are used to. Look at, for example, Salah signed his new deal. Okay, great seasons before, boom, signed his new deal. Now all the eyes are on him. Sometimes he pops up, sometimes he doesn't pop up. But then they had the opposite side. They had someone else who scored a goal. And this kind of things is not anymore what the feeling, that little, that specialness. I feel like that's a little bit lost. And I feel like we're also watching a team that look like they're a little bit looking for answers. And that's what the downside for Liverpool is, I feel.
Frank, we know you're a leader in the dressing room in your playing days. What do you do? How do you address this to get that X factor back that Mario suggests is missing?
That's very complicated because you're not in the other's brain, and you don't really know how people are feeling. You know how you feel. And I remember it happened in my career, and you try to, to find something to reunite in fight. The example of Liverpool is absolutely the best example, where everybody agreed that they were really a squad. They were playing together, they were united, they were going at the same pace, they were always compensating for each other, and suddenly it doesn't work. So you have to make sure that the dressing room is still united to cope with the situation and to resolve all the problems. But you will have to find which are the players who are not into that mood and ready to work harder to make sure they can resolve the problem. And also, you will have to find, and that's the coach issue, who is not able to keep on going with that past. That's the main concern that you have to find. But it's complicated because the journalist was talking about the cycle system, which is kind of 4 or 5 years. And that's the reality of football, that at a certain point, even with the same players, you can't keep on winning. Real Madrid is really the exception to the rules, where you seem to see, that with the same group that they can't keep on going. Last year was maybe the end of an era, the end of a cycle, and they won the Champions League. But otherwise, all clubs have been through that, and it's hard to cope, even with top players. We had this in '98. With the 98 team, when we won the World Cup, we won the European Championship, then the Confederation Cup. Then in 2002, end of a cycle with the same players, we couldn't cope. We couldn't resolve the problems. We were too tired, we were maybe cooked, and we couldn't resolve the problem we are on the field, and it was the end of it.
We saw that with Spain as well more recently. Do you just accept this?
No. No, you don't accept. Listen, it's to keep on going and doing what they were doing. The way to do it, or the ideal way to do it, or the way it has been done in Liverpool teams of past, is you're adding one piece or two pieces every time. And so you've got this continuous change of personnel. Right now, we've seen with Liverpool, yes, they've added a couple of pieces, but it seems like it's generally everybody for a period of time. And not only have they got injuries, but they've got, I always love this thing. People used to say, what's the secret of Liverpool, right? And nobody could answer it. And it's the same question now when it's not happening.
Yeah.
You don't know. There's something when you put a side together, when a manager puts a side together, he puts characters together, he puts different personalities together, you put guys who play the game just a little differently, and it works. And to try and tell people and explain what it is that makes it special is impossible. But I'll tell you what, it disappears quicker than you get it. And unfortunately right now, for a whole host of reasons, and you've got to have some sympathy with Liverpool when you think about the injuries and the fact that they got, you're having to play guys like Jones is having to play again. You got Elliott's having to play. Now these guys are not ready to play in a team that should be competing for the Premier League and winning the Champions League. They're not ready for that, but they're having to play. And they're having to play with the expectation of that. On top of the fact that your best players, people like Van Dijk, are struggling. Good luck. It's tough. There's not an easy answer. But the one thing you can't do is give up.
On Friday, of course, we saw a number of World Cup picks from the boys that are in the studio, plus Frank Leboeuf as well. In case you didn't see Frank, so we'll revisit them in a moment. But as Stevie and Mario are here, let's get your picks, Stevie. Senegal, Netherlands, Argentina, Poland, Spain, Germany, Brazil, Cameroon. We've got no real surprises there whatsoever. US not going through, though.
So predictable.
No, I just think Iran. I don't trust the US to create a lot of chances and score goals, and same with Wales.
Okay, let's take you through the bracket then. I imagine the Dutch are going to beat Iran, Argentina to beat Denmark,
Yep.
Spain to beat Croatia,
Yep.
Brazil to beat Ghana,
Yep.
England, Senegal. Oh, let's see. Can we? Here we go. Let's see. There we are. Everything we just said. Perfect. Through to the quarterfinals, and then it'll be Argentina, Brazil.
Yep.
In the semi-finals. Let's go to the other side now that we just obviously saw before. England in action against Senegal. What have you got here, Steve?
I was absolutely desperate.
Yeah.
I'm going for Senegal.
Oh, of course you are. Senegal against France.
Yeah.
And it'll
Yes.
be Germany against Cameroon to beat Portugal.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. We'll see the semi-finals, I assume, will be France-Germany, okay, which then will lead us to the final. Who's going to win?
He hates Africa.
Argentina, Brazil?
Tasty. Oh, Brazil.
Brazil?
Yeah.
France-Germany?
tell you
Germany, and then who will win the final?
Tasty couple of semis and finals. Brazil wins the final.
Brazil wins the final. Now, that's pretty much standard. I think everybody would certainly agree to a large part of that.
Yeah.
Let's see Mario's picks, shall we? Frank's just gagging to shout at everyone for being boring. Let's take Senegal and Dutch. Okay, yeah, pretty much standard, I think, from what everyone
No
would say.
Uruguay, yeah? No Uruguay, yeah?
Let's take it through then, shall we? To the knockout stage. Let's take a look at the bracket. The Dutch against USA, Mario. Your heart or your hometown? Who are you going for? The Dutch, of course.
Oh, the Dutch, yes.
Argentina to beat Denmark, Germany to beat Croatia, Brazil, meanwhile, to beat Ghana. It will be an Argentina-Brazil semi-final, pretty much as everyone is saying. You're saying Argentina are going to beat your precious Dutch. Meanwhile, at the other side of the bracket, let's see how far you've got England going. England taking on Senegal. France against Mexico, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland. Will be England, France, Spain, Portugal in the quarterfinals. Semi-finals, France to beat England, Spain to beat Portugal, and the final will be, I reckon, a repeat of 1998, will it? Let's take a look at how we've got it. It will be Argentina or Brazil. There we go. Oh, Brazil, Spain. According to Mario, will be the final with who winning overall? Brazil. Okay, really that was the main appetizer, so we could just go back to the main course, which is, of course, Frank's picks on Friday, in case you missed it. What, should we pick up at the bracket stages? Look how excited Frank is. Did you see this, Stevie?
I haven't seen it.
This is absolutely bonkers, and if he gets this right, then we'll never hear the end of it.
I'm an idol, you know. They love me in Canada now. They love me.
Right, shut it down.
Shut it down. Where are the Dutch, Frank?
Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, of course. I mean, I love Canada. I think with David and Davis, oh my God, they're gonna kill everybody. So
wow,
yeah,
a
so
two-man team is going to destroy
and I'm going
them.
for Denmark. I was in
Interesting.
Copenhagen with the World Cup. I went there last month, and I say you're gonna bring the World Cup within 3 months. Keep on doing. You'll see
Keep
the
on
result.
doing what?
Keep on.
Oh, yes. Okay, we are the final. Okay. No, I thought you would give your prediction as well, Dan.
Meanwhile, of course, many eyes will be on Lionel Messi for his final World Cup for Argentina, and questions still being asked about what he's going to do next season with his contract expiring at PSG at the end of the campaign. Inter Miami seemed to be his destination, according to reports. Mario, does this make sense to you? PSG is still sniffing about. They want him to stay. Barcelona, there's talk of him wanting him back there. Would you go to Miami now? Would you go to MLS now, or would you stay in Europe?
I would do what my body will tell me. I think that will be my answer to this situation. If my body tells me that I can still compete at the highest level, then I'm not sure if I would make that move. You understand? Because I think now it's not, with all due respect, the MLS is not yet at the level where it's in Paris. So that's why I think, yeah, it's for me normal if you would pick that. But if not, come on, guys. It's not a bad place to be, right, Miami?
What would you do, Frank?
I think I agree with Mario. If I feel that my body and my head wants to carry on and I still want to win something, I will stay in Europe and maybe stay at Paris Saint-Germain.
In the spirit of Halloween today, what's your favourite candy, Stevie, and what's your least favourite?
Oh, Cadbury's chocolate.
Cadbury's chocolate?
Cadbury's chocolate.
Yeah, it's your favourite. Milk chocolate? Just plain?
Yeah, plain. I don't mind the old fruit and nut.
Right, but
Definitely.
just plain chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Frank? Your sweet tooth?
I am very sweet, but I try to calm down, you know. And the only sweet that I have is the one with no sugar in it. It's Fisherman and Friends. You know, I love it.
What's boring.
I know it's boring. I know it's boring. I know.
Now,
I
there must
know.
be a candy that you
yeah, but
like,
it's so-
surely. Is there
but
one,
it's selling
a
for
little
the
treat,
boss or
maybe
something.
just once a year you have?
I love, you know, the flan, the cake, the flan. No candies, but I love sweetness, and I am crazy about it. The flan, I'm crazy, the French flan.
Yes, yeah. What about you, Mario? Favourite candy?
Chocolate, guys. Keep it
Yeah.
simple. Chocolate
Yes.
is my thing, and that's why, you know what Frank said. Halloween is not really for me, but I do the eating for it. So that's why chocolate for me.
Who does the best chocolate? The Dutch, the English, or the Americans, Mario?
Oh no, I go Dutch. I'm sorry. We love the milk chocolate, man. I go that way. But the Belgians apparently are better than the Dutch. So
There we go.
The Swiss are making the
Yes.
best chocolate.
Yeah, there you are. But you're not allowed to talk about it, Frank, because you're not allowed it. For all, older legends like
Okay.
Ronaldo and Busquets have found themselves in unimaginable situations, booed by fans. No minutes or no teams wanting them. Did any of you have similar experiences as you got older, and what kept you from retiring or joining a less demanding league? Stevie, your path is quite interesting for people who don't know, because obviously you had all your success at Liverpool.
Yep.
And then you went to...
Notts County. and
Who were in the what tier? What tier of English football?
when I went, they got relegated to the third tier,
Right.
and then I went back to the Premier League,
With Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday,
Yep.
and then I went on loan and played in the Championship, and then after that I played non-league.
For Doncaster Rovers.
Doncaster Rovers.
So people will look at that and say, why would you play non-league after everything, all the success that you had? What was driving you?
Because I like playing football, and I can
Right.
still play football.
Yes.
And you know, it's fantastic to play at Wembley and all these big places, and there's 100,000 people there. But at the end of the day, it's just good to play football.
Right.
So, can I go and play at Doncaster Rovers and down the road and go and enjoy playing football? Or do I sit in the house or go for a run every day? Or I'm like, well, why would I not play football?
And you enjoyed it?
It was fantastic.
Brilliant.
I think I told you, I played in the first round of the FA Cup for the first time in my life at Doncaster Rovers. And winning the game, we were away at Southend, who were a league side.
Yep.
And we beat them 1-0. It was like, you know, they were flinging the kitchen sink at us. We had like 200 supporters with us down there. And the final whistle went, and they all ran on the field. It was brilliant.
All for the love of the game.
It was great.
Which I'm sure was similar to you, Frank, isn't it, when you signed that multi-million-dollar contract to go to Qatar?
Exactly, and we didn't have even 200 fans, you know. We had nobody coming to the game. Yeah, but that was the good thing is about how to retire and not retire for the top level and do nothing after. I think it helped me to digest, in fact, my retirement, going to Qatar and going into a pre-retirement in level-wise, you know, where you don't play like crazy top-level games. It goes slow. You go to a good descent, and then after you retire. So I digested it very well. That was fun.
Mario, you retired in Qatar as well.
yes, I retired in Qatar as well because I went there. But the weather, oh man, I don't know how Frank did it, but I played 1 year, I had 1 more year left, but I knew I wanted to live in LA. So when I woke up, I said, no, I'm going to retire because my dream was to retire fully fit.
The 4 big trophies is down to Manny leaving. So it's got nothing to do with the fact the midfield is falling apart.
So are you saying there
it's
is,
got nothing
there is
to do
no
with the fact
contributing factor
it's got nothing
whatsoever?
to do with the fact.
It doesn't matter. It's not a contributing
stupid
factor whatsoever.
What a stupid question.
Why?
Would they have scored a few more goals? Maybe. Yeah.
Right, okay. So then they would have got
So
more
after
points,
that,
and therefore it makes a difference.
So after that, they'd be like 7th instead of 10th.
But they would be better off with Mane than without him.
See, that's just... You know what? If you're going to make an argument, don't make a stupid one.
I don't think it's honestly, Steve, I don't think it's a stupid
Who's
argument.
going to turn round to you and say they might not have a few more goals? Nobody with any sense. But that's not where Liverpool's problem is.
But it's part of the problem. It's part of the pie.
It's a little part of the pie.
There we go. That's all I wanted you to admit, that it was part of the pie.
Honestly,
That's it.
See, sometimes it's not worth arguing with you because it doesn't matter what
no, but
you say.
you're saying, it doesn't make a difference.
I've just told you.
And now
I've
it
just
does
told
make
you.
a difference, you said.
Answer my question.
Yes.
So because Mane's not there, that's why the middle of the park's falling apart, and that's why the defence is falling apart. And by the way, that's why Alisson isn't making as many saves either. So is that down to Mane leaving?
I am
yes
saying
or no?
it's all part of a big pie.
So
It's part of a big pie, isn't it?
So when it suits you, it's all because Mane's not there.
No.
But when it doesn't suit you,
I never
it's all
said
part
it was
of the
all
pie.
because of Mane. I said it's a contributing
Shut
factor.
up. Don't waste your breath.
Guys,
Mario.
can we ask you something? Because Stevie, like you're really more into it. But I felt like Mane didn't have a lot to do with the atmosphere in the dressing room. And I think that also is important in gelling the team. And I think moving him away or whatever the decision that they made, I think they lost a lot bigger than what they thought they would lose. Than just a player only. I think they also lost the human being that controls a lot. Because a lot of people think, and I also, from what I've understand and what I've heard, is that he has way more influence on his team than people think he has. Because he's, a little man, and people think like, oh, no. I think you're really dealing with a lion that comes to work when he needs to be.
Mario, can I ask you a favour?
Yeah.
Don't ever, ever go on the side of him ever again. The slightest
No.
Even the slightest little bit. Please.
Do you feel that Mane is in fact still had? I'm talking about the moral of the dressing room. I'm not talking about the midfield or the last line or the front line. I'm talking the moral of the dressing room.
Listen, if there was something that Smarty Pants here got right, it was, yes, a little piece of the pie's missing. For all the things, on the field, off the field, all that. But please, don't go with him. Because nobody thinks he's right when he's filling, I won't say the world.
Frank Leboeuf, how big a piece of the pie is Mane?
Yeah. No, I think your argument doesn't stand, my dear Dan, because you said, repeat yourself, because it worked with Mane last year, it would have stayed, it would have worked for Liverpool. But are you saying that Van Dijk wasn't there, Anderson wasn't there, Salah wasn't there, Thiago Alcantara wasn't there last year, and it doesn't work? So it's not because Mane would have stayed that it would have worked. I think it's more, and we talked about that, and I agree with Stevie, that the middle of the park is not at the same level, and Mane would have suffered the same way, even if I agree with you, Mane is Mane and he's a fantastic player, and yes, he's injured. But I don't think it would have saved Liverpool, and Liverpool will be equally strong as Manchester City because Mane would have been there. I don't believe that, because you don't win on your own. Never. It doesn't work. People try to think that it's possible. It's why they give a Ballon d'Or and all kind of crap we have in the world of football right now. But only one player doesn't save a total club.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.